unpack the bicycle. I'm very nervous about the transportation and whether it will still be intact when I arrive in Kosovo. This bag cost me about 500 euros. It's got a really solid reputation, and even though it's not a hard case, the bike seems pretty well protected inside. Just left the car at Gothenburg Airport. 3 weeks of parking for 100 euros. Getting to Pristina Airport takes roughly 2.5 hours by plane. Quick tip when using public toilets. The trip starts now. Kosovo, here we come. Made it. Getting out of the airplane was like hitting a wall of heat. It's crazy hot. From Pristina Airport to Jakova, where we'll be staying, it's about a 1 hour 15-minute drive. Because of my huge bicycle bag, we ended up needing 2 cars to get to Jakova. Good thing I've got awesome friends to help out. The day after we arrived, I went out for a short solo ride. It was so hot but very nice to finally be here. This is the road that takes me from where I'm staying out toward the edge of Jakova. When it comes to safety, biking here is no different from most countries. Just be a little extra careful at roundabouts and crossings. It's kinda amazing. Only 20 years ago this city was torn apart by war, and now the people here in Jakova are some of the friendliest and most helpful you'll ever meet. Out of the city, feels so good to be riding free. The route starts in Jakova and heads to Junik, climbing about 209 meters along the way. On the ride back, you can just relax and enjoy a steady 1% downhill almost the entire way. With the temperature hitting 40 degrees, I had to take a break in the shade and cool off with some cold drinks. Went out for a coffee after the ride. The nightlife in Jakova during summer is amazing. So many tourists and locals out enjoying the cooler evening temperatures. The day after, just around lunch, I decided to go for another coffee. One thing you quickly notice here is how much people enjoy sitting down for a cup of coffee or espresso. It's not just about drinking it, it's about taking the time to talk, laugh, and connect. It shows how social and warm the culture here really is. As you can see, the streets are pretty empty in the middle of the day. The heat keeps most people indoors, and it's only when the sun sets that the city really comes alive again. Day 2 was a ride with some friends, and we went on a route that's very popular here in Gjokova. The road takes you up a small climb to the border with Albania, and once you pass over, there's a really cozy coffee place waiting on the other side. What makes this area so special are the views. The city of Gjokova is encircled by high mountains, and no matter where you look, the landscape is amazing. For most people this climb would probably feel easy, but I was completely exhausted. Coming from Sweden, where it's all flat roads, I'm just not used to this kind of riding. The climb is about 7 kilometers long with an average gradient of 3.5%. Here we are at border control. Made it to the coffee spot in Albania. Such a warm and welcoming owner, and the view is just stunning. After the ride, I had to refill some of the calories I'd lost. One of my favorite spots to eat in Gjokova is day food. This first plate, mixed meat with chicken and veal, cost just €3. The second plate, a mixed meat sandwich, also only €3. And just to be clear, I didn't eat them on the same day. The pictures were taken on different days. On day 4, we set out on a big ride, 120 kilometers and 2,200 meters of climbing. We crossed the border into Albania, and the majority of the route runs through the stunning Albanian landscape. It was a bit windy on the way to the border, but the view of the high mountains more than made up for it. Kicking things off with the first climb of the day, on the way to the Albanian border. Had to stop and take a picture. Look at that view. After crossing into Albania, the road went a bit downhill, which was really nice. Finally a chance to cool off. One of the best parts of cycling. That moment after a tough climb when you can relax on the descent and feel the wind cooling your body. It's hard not to repeat myself, but the views here are truly incredible. The mountains, the valleys, everything is just stunning. We're now heading towards the second climb of the day, called Kernich. It's a tough one, 9.8 kilometers long, with 654 meters of elevation gain and an average gradient of 6.7%. It almost killed me. I didn't manage to record the climb. I was just too tired and focused on getting through it. But here are some bad quality videos from a friend. I made it to the top, and that's what counts. I'm super happy about it.
Hier ist jemand? Ha?
At the top of the climb, and as you can see, the road simply stops here for the time being. At the top of the climb, my water was gone and it was like 40 degrees in the sun, so we went straight to a supermarket to refill. Here you never know when you will be able to find water or energy again, so I always carry as much as possible. Coming up is climb number 3 for today, 10.3 kilometers in length, 460 meters of elevation gain, and an average gradient of 4.5%. For me, the third climb was the hardest. Being able to see the whole climb from the beginning made it feel so long and far away. Still, arriving at the top gave me an amazing sense of accomplishment, and the views were worth every pedal stroke. Finally made it to the top of the climb. The feeling is just incredible. You're overwhelmed both by the view and by the fact that you managed to suffer all the way up here. I'm trying to capture the road we just climbed so you can see what it was like. On top of everything, there was fresh, ice-cold mountain water waiting at the summit. Being able to drink and cool off with it was just amazing. Coming over the other side of the mountain, we were greeted with this view. Absolutely breathtaking. Coming down the other side of the mountain, we suddenly saw smoke rising and could smell it right away. The deeper we went, the more smoke we rode into, and with only one road available, it was leading us right toward it. Fortunately, we came across a little shop and asked someone about it. They explained it was a mountain fire, so at least we knew we were safe to continue. From here, only a short climb remained to the border before heading back to Jakova, and honestly, all I could think about was that post-ride pizza. What better way to wrap up a ride than with the best pizza in Jakova and an ice-cold beer? It's day 7 in Kosovo, and we were fortunate with the weather. A perfect day for a big climb, with temperatures sitting around 25 degrees. On this segment, there were 2 short sections of the climb without pavement, so it's definitely a good idea to bring spare tires. In total, this segment is 19 kilometers with 1,071 meters of elevation and an average gradient of 5.5%, a real challenge. The good thing about this climb is that there are plenty of spots where you can find fresh, ice-cold mountain water to cool down with. I'm really feeling this climb, as you can hear from my breathing. In some spots, especially on the bends, the gradient goes all the way up to 10 to 12%. Forget the sound of me gasping for air and check out this view instead. The pavement here is nearly new. They began paving from halfway up about a year ago and have just completed another section. Some parts are still unpaved, mainly because the steep cliffs make construction really difficult. Here you can tell the pavement is brand new. We're climbing so high that we're almost level with the clouds. It's the first time I've ever experienced this, and it feels incredible. This is where the road ends for now. In the future, they're planning to extend it all the way to the top, and I honestly can't wait for the day I get to ride all the way up the mountain. From up here you can actually see all the way to Jakova. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that you're this high up, and that you made it here by bike. Is there anything better than an ice-cold beer and some food after a long climb? I don't think so. All of this, 2 plates of food and a big beer, for just about €5. The restaurant we are at is called the Old Barrel, located right here in the Old Town. This street is the heart of Jakova's nightlife, the most famous spot to be once the sun goes down. Early the next morning, we set off for Velipojë in Albania, where we plan to spend some time on a family vacation. From Jakova it takes roughly 3.5 hours by car. Arriving at the apartment, my daughter spotted the trampoline right away and couldn't resist trying it. As for the apartment itself, I won't mention the name, since I wouldn't recommend it. We ended up at a restaurant near the apartment, only a short walk away from the beach. After such a long drive, we had worked up quite an appetite, and the meat really hit the spot. We ended the evening at the amusement park, a popular spot here in Velipojë. The town has a great reputation for being child-friendly, which makes it perfect for families. This is the amusement park in the evening, and honestly, it's a must-visit if you come to Velipojë. If I remember right, there were about 20 different rides here, and each one only cost between €1 and €2. No surprise, this was my daughter's absolute favorite spot. After our evening at the amusement park, it was time to return to the apartment and get some sleep, since we had a full beach day planned for tomorrow. This is the beach the next morning. The road along the beach goes on for about 5 kilometers, a perfect place for a nighttime stroll. Later in the evening, we ended up at Tivoli once more. My daughter kept insisting that we should go there every night. And it makes sense, because the place is packed with music, food, and fun things to do. Here's a longer video of me walking around so you can see what it's like. If I have to point out one negative thing about Albania and Kosovo, it's the food variety. Almost every restaurant seems to have the same menu. Pizza, pasta, cevapi, burek, poljeskavica, or veal. And the problem is, it all tastes the same no matter where you eat. There's rarely a place that adds unique spices or a special touch. That's why discovering this next restaurant was such a joy. At last, my taste buds got something truly different. The restaurant I mentioned is called Norma Restaurant and Grill. What makes it special is that everything is homemade from scratch, and you can really tell by the taste. What's funny is that this restaurant was just 2 minutes from our apartment, but unfortunately we only found it the day before returning to Gjokova. I asked the owner why they chose a location that's about a 20-minute walk from the city, and he said it was because they wanted peace and harmony, no busy crowds, no loud people, no blasting music. We ordered a spaghetti bolognese for our daughter, and of course I had to taste it. You could immediately tell it was made from scratch with real quality ingredients. Before finding this place, I tried about 10 different bolognese dishes, and honestly, they all tasted exactly the same. The following morning, before driving back to Gjokova, we stopped here again for breakfast. I went with the omelette, and honestly, it was the best I've ever tasted. No joke. Once we were back in Gjokova, we went to Kids Center, which is just perfect for families with kids. The service was excellent, the owner's super friendly, and they serve really nice food for children. This has become our go-to spot in Gjokova with our daughter whenever we don't have anything else planned. She absolutely loves it here. Day 14 in Kosovo already. The days are flying by so quickly. Unfortunately, I didn't record anything from today's ride. Day 16 in Kosovo, and I went out for a solo ride. The plan for today was the famous Koshare climb. It takes about 60 minutes by bike from Gjokova to get here. The climb itself is 8.2 kilometers long, with 541 meters of elevation gain, averaging 6.6% gradient. The heat was brutal, I was absolutely dying. Lesson learned, never do a climb at 12 o'clock when it's above 42 degrees. On the bright side, I actually managed to film it properly this time. Enjoy the full screen. At the summit with my bike. It's a comfort endurance model. I'm starting to feel it's time for something new. The view stretches all the way down to Jakova. Pretty amazing. This is a spot I'd recommend to everyone, whether you come here to do the climb or just to visit. Not only are the views breathtaking, but there's also an important monument here. The Košare Memorial Complex commemorates the 1999 Battle of Košare and stands as a symbol of Kosovo's struggle for freedom. Thank God for these mountain water spots. Pure refreshment straight from nature. Perfect to cool down with. Stopped for a short break on the way back. Ice-cold Fanta and water to keep me going. The following day I took it easy, spent time with my family, and later walked to the tattoo shop for a surprise tattoo for my wife. Fair warning, this recording is a bit long because I filmed the entire walk through Jakova's main streets. Something I need to mention again is how warm and welcoming the people of Jakova are, and how safe this place feels. The food has always been good, I've never had food poisoning, and the tap water is drinkable straight from the sink. To be completely honest, I think Jakova feels safer than any Swedish town, day or night. Jakova is home to about 80,000 people, making it the 6th largest city in Kosovo. But what makes it special isn't just the numbers. The city once served as a major trading hub between Shkodër and Istanbul. Its old bazaar, known as Qarshia I Mada or Old Town, used to be packed with craftsmen and merchants, and even today you can feel that heritage walking through the streets. Something that stands out about Jakova is the people. With a young population, the city always feels full of life, especially in the evenings when everyone goes out for coffee or walks in the old town. There's also a mix of cultures here. Both Muslims and Catholics live side by side, and that diversity is part of what makes the city feel so welcoming. Jakova is surrounded by high mountains, so wherever you look, there's a beautiful view. For cyclists and hikers, this area is a dream, with climbs that take you all the way to the Albanian border and beyond. Even if you're not into sports, just driving out a bit from the city gives you amazing landscapes, rivers, and mountain scenery. Coffee culture here is huge. People don't just drink coffee, they sit for hours and socialize. Cafes are always full, and it's one of the best ways to experience local life. Here in Kosovo, the average monthly salary hovers around €550 after tax, but in Gjokova it's closer to €330. For many locals, that just covers the basics, especially when minimum wages are around €264. In a small town like this, most people run family businesses or work locally. Something that might surprise you about Gjokova is the shopping scene. It's not a huge city, but you still find plenty of clothing stores, shoe shops, and small boutiques spread around town. A lot of the stores are family-owned, and you get this feeling of personal service that's harder to find in big shopping malls. There are international brands here and there, but most of the clothing shops sell affordable fashion, often imported from Turkey or Italy. Prices are much lower than in Western Europe. You can find a decent pair of jeans for around €20 to €30, and shoes often cost half of what you'd pay back home. In addition to clothing, the Old Bazaar is full of small shops where you can buy handcrafted items, jewelry, and traditional goods. If you're into something unique, this is the place to look. The bazaar also has souvenir shops, but most of it is still very local, not the tourist-focused kind you see in bigger cities. For daily needs, you've got supermarkets and convenience stores everywhere, and there are also electronics shops, pharmacies, and bakeries on almost every street. So even though Gjokova isn't a big metropolitan city, it has everything you need, from clothes and shoes to groceries and little specialty shops. The next day, day 18 in Kosovo, with my new tattoos still wrapped up and protected, we went out for a ride, this time without any major climbs. The mandatory pre-ride coffee, can't start without it. With temperatures pushing 40 degrees and no wind to cool us down, we agreed it wasn't the day for major climbs. It would have been way too hot and draining. Apologies for the poor quality. And yes, that's me in the clip. Another clip of me flying by at 60 kilometers per hour. Haha. Made it to Dekan, a small but well-known city here in Kosovo. Stopped in Dekan for a coffee and some carbs to get the energy back. Such a nice spot by the lake that cuts through the town. On the way back to Gjokova from Dekan, the good part? It's basically downhill the whole way, around -1%. It's already day 19 in Kosovo, and sadly this is the final ride. The weather was extreme, 40 degrees with no wind, and the route had 655 meters of climbing. Out on the edge of Gjokova, hanging around while the guys make their way here. This stretch is actually one of the most well-known routes in Jakova. Here I am at what I thought was the end of the segment, giving it everything for the final push, but nope, the real finish was another 100 meters up the road. My friend behind the camera totally tricked me. Time to phone our friends and see how far back they are. We dropped them right at the beginning of the climb. Couldn't help it, huh? How stunning is this view? Absolutely incredible. And way down there, you can see Jakova. That's it, the last ride and the last beer with the bike bros here in Kosovo. Tomorrow it's back to Sweden, and honestly, it's always hard to leave Jakova. If you ever get the chance, I truly recommend visiting. The people here are some of the friendliest and most welcoming I've ever met. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this video, even with the rough quality. And hey, if this hits over 10K views, I'll upgrade to a GoPro and seriously step up my editing game.